Hey everyone, today we are going to talk about the warp panel. And the next few videos, I'm just going to kind of focus on a few of the things in this software that you may not normally use. So today we're going to do a short video on how to use your warp panel. Now I do know if you have the basic or I think you gotta have the business edition and up in order to have the warp panels. But let's get started. So I just put these in here already, and your warp panel is over here on your right side. Now, depending on if you're working from the laptop or your computer screen, you may not see it, and so you always go to the bottom here and click on this arrow. And your warp panel looks like I don't know, um some piece of ziggity zaggity paper. I don't even know what to say this looks like, but this is your warp panel right here. So I'm going to click on this, and you see this is the warp panel. So we're just going to start with the basic warp. It's not a whole lot in here. And people use this, I guess it just really depends. I'm going to just show you maybe two reasons or two. Mainly the people that use this the most are people who make cups. And I'm going to show you why and how to use it on a cup. So let's just start with our first tab. This is the first warp tab. Okay, we're going to pull this over here. Let me change the color. I'm not sure how well you guys can see it. And I'm going to open this up. And then I'm just going to hit, you're going to highlight your text, any text you have here. And then you're going to hit warp selected shapes. Okay. Did I do it here? All right. So then you're going to get this box. Now, because I want to have maybe you have like nodes all around the outside, and these are the main. So you're just going to grab it, hold your left shift key down, or not your shift key, excuse me, your mouse, or if you're on an iPad, your key here, hold that down and pull it out. Click on here, hold this down, and pull it out. Now, if I wanted to do something like, now I'm going to put this back to restore original shape because you can always put it back to where it was. So I am just going to pull this heart over here and say I just want to put this in the heart. So I'm going to shape it down a little bit so it can fit inside my heart. And I'm going to sit it right in the middle. I'm going to click on the text again. I'm going to click my warp shapes. Then I'm going to go down to columns because I want to pull out these. So I want to have more nodes to be able to pull on. So I'm going to go on to my columns here, and I'm going to put 2 and 3 columns. As you can see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. As you can see, it added columns. So I'm going to pull the node from here and just say if you have a shape, if you just want to make it this, the size, and of course it takes a little messing around with, so I'm not going to really spend too much time on it, but you can see all the little nodes you have here, so you can mess around with it. I would just pull it all the way up because I want my W to go up here, down. And you get the gist of it. It's just a matter of messing around with it. All right. And then you can just do it and fill up the whole heart. And then this will give you columns, so it depends on how big the words are or the rows. So it depends on what shape you're trying to get it. And if you wanted to keep this particular shape and say if you did it the way you like it and say, okay, I like this, I am going to, you can either restore back to original shape. So if I hit restore back to original shape, it's going to go right back to, what it originally was before we pulled it this way. And then we're going to go, if you wanted to keep this, you're going to just hit release wrap. It's going to ungroup it and it'll stay exactly like that. And then of course I'm going to go over here to my group. Oops. and that's the shape you would have. And like I said, I'm not spending a lot of time on it, so you would have to just mess with it a little bit. But that's your first warp tab. So let's remove this and go to the next tab. Oops. Okay. All right, so let's pull this one in, and then we're going to go to the second tab over here. Now, this is just pre-made like template, so it's almost similar, except you don't, have to mess with it as much. So just say if I wanted to do, I don't know, let me see here. Let me use this one here. So this basically just gives you the shape to work in. So it's a little bit easier than the first tab because it kind of gives you a shape to work with. And sometime when you're doing this, you might want to, and this is the only time I do not like using. So I'm just going to go over here and go to my page setup, and I'm going to show my grid, which I never show the grid because it's too busy for me. But when you're doing something like this, you want to show grid because it's going to help you line this up. So say if I wanted to, make sure I got it even, the only way to do that is to be able to show the grid. So it kind of helps you line things up. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the grid. I hate using the grid. So I'm going to close this out. I'm going to go back down here to my warp panel here. And say if I like this shape, we're in the second tab. Say if I like this shape or I don't like this shape, I am going to restore back to my original shape and maybe try another one. And it's the same thing. It's just messing around with it. And just say I like it just like that. All right. Then I'm going to hit release warp. And it's just going to complete it. And it always ungroups it. And then I'm going to group it back. And here you have it. And you can cut it out. Now, of course, once you release warp, you can't reverse it unless you hit, the back tab, but you won't be able to change it at that point. All right. Okay. I'm going to delete this, and we're going to do one more thing, and we're going to go on to the cup. Okay. Now, I'm just going to type a second here. Type a word here. Okay. Now, a lot of people mainly this is the main reason that they use the warp. So if you're making cups, I'm not sure if you know it's really hard sometimes when you're doing lettering and shapes, try to get it around the cup. Well, this is what you need to get the shape the right way. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to do it's called a conical warp selected shape. You're going to click on that, and you can see, let me zoom out some. You see the shape here. And you know what? Let me move this over a little bit so you can see it better in the gray instead of the white area. Okay. All right. All right. So depending on the size of your cup, you're going to go down here. And you're going to, of course, measure your cup from the top, the height, and the bottom. Okay. And I'm just going to play around with it because I don't have no shapes, no size of any cup. So I'm just messing around with it. So if you notice, when you do the shape of the cups, when you have the right size, whatever you have in here, it's going to adjust to the curvage when you place it on the cup. That's the whole purpose of this. So if the cup is wider, then of course it's going to curve out wider, and you'll probably see, like, you can maybe see the letter and the heart moving to the shape. So it's important that you measure whatever it is. Okay, so here it's if you want the shape to be bigger or smaller. Oops, now I only have the heart highlighted, so I didn't, okay, so let's go back. So when I didn't highlight the love when I started this, so we're going to go back here. I'm going to click on my heart. One second here. And I'm going to cancel this because I don't want to do that. Yikes. Out my way. Oh, guys, I hate when this happens. I don't even know how to get rid of this thing. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. So when I first did it, I only had the heart highlighted, but you have to highlight the whole thing and then go up here to the warp, click on the conical warp, and now it's going to do the same thing, except I have the whole image in here. So again, you're just going to get to the top of the, put the measurements for the top of the cup, the side, the height, and the bottom of the cup. And then the two down here is basically, how you want it shaped, the size of it. Okay. All right. So just always notice when you do this, okay, when you put it on a cup, you have to make sure you do it in the same area that you're having it shaped towards. So, so when you have it shaped towards this, just say if you're putting it down towards the bottom, when you're placing the vinyl on the cup, make sure you have it down towards the bottom. And that way it's going to lay right and it's going to have the curvature. I was trying to maybe make it a little wider so you can just see the difference in how the shape goes of the size it contours towards the cup. So it'll make it a lot easier to do. Okay? So once you have your design in the cup, excuse me, then you're going to go at the bottom and hit apply. You hit apply, of course it's going to ungroup. We're going to group it back, and this is how you're going to cut it. All right. If you have any questions, put your comments below, and I'll try to get back to them. So again, we go down to here, to your warp panel. It's here. You have the first tab. It just messes around with your images or font. These are already, pre-made templates, which is a lot simpler to work with. And then the third is if you work with cups or mugs, this will make it so much easier when you're applying vinyl on the cups or mugs. All right. All right. I hope this helped. If you have any questions, please leave your comments below. Have an amazing day.